What's up, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be discussing Dricus Du Plessis and what's on the horizon for this guy, because his name's been in the media a lot recently, right? We saw the altercation that happened at UFC 296, the brawl with Strickland, the trash talking at the press conference between him and Strickland. So in this video, I'm going to discuss why this is a big deal for Dricus Du Plessis and what this is potentially setting him up for, and why he could be one of the biggest names in the UFC by the end of 2024. Now, let's first bring up the fact that I find it very hard to believe that Dana White, as he said in the UFC 296 post-fight press conference, that was on him and it was his mistake, and he doesn't know how in the world it was possible that he made the mistake that Dricus Du Plessis and Strickland somehow end up sitting basically directly behind each other at the event. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I've never put together a seating chart for a giant event like the UFC, right? But if you're sitting there and you're looking at it and you see that Strickland here, Dricus Du Plessis here, that's crazy to me, right? That makes it seem like you did it on purpose, which is exactly what I think happened. And I'm going to explain as we go here in the video why I think that this was on purpose. And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And the thing is about this whole thing, Dricus Du Plessis has done a terrific job of bullying the bully with Strickland. He got under the skin of Strickland. And if you haven't seen my video where I talk about Strickland maybe being a hypocrite, check that out. But, you know, Dricus, he shut Strickland up, man. He definitely got under Strickland's skin here. And it's the first time we've seen Strickland very noticeably irritated. We've seen someone kind of get after him and really make Strickland angry and feel some kind of way. And this is huge for Strickland, or for Dricus Du Plessis, because he did this to Israel Adesanya as well. So it seems that DDP might be overlooked for his trash talk game, man. It seems like this guy's able to get under whoever's skin he feels like getting under. He seems like a very respectful, pleasant dude until you wake up the beast, and then this guy's going to have something to say, and he's not just going to sit there and go back and forth with you. He's going for the kill shot verbally. So I think that this is a huge opportunity for DDP because, first of all, this fight's about a month away. The promotion, I believe the UFC has lined this up perfectly. I find it hard to believe that was a mistake, the seating accident, and all this and that. This fight is huge now. It's a big fight going down in Canada. It's the next pay-per-view event, UFC 297. I believe whoever wins this matchup could potentially be fighting Israel Adesanya, defending the strap against Israel Adesanya at UFC 300, because UFC 300 is going to have some main event issues. If you haven't seen my video on that, check that out as well. But they need a title fight. And if DDP wins, I find it very likely that could potentially be a headliner for that event, because DDP and Adesanya have the beef. We know about that. That's a big fight. Everyone wanted that to happen. DDP was injured. Strickland steps in on short notice, walks through Israel Adesanya. I mean, we got to call it what it is. We can say Israel Adesanya was not committed, not focused, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, Strickland walked through Izzy. It was a very impressive performance. And Strickland walked through Abus Magomedov the fight prior. So, and then he also walked through, he stepped in on short notice and won a fight. So it's like, what we're seeing right now from Strickland is this guy is kind of coming into his own. He's figuring himself out. He's figuring out kind of how to fight, under the bright lights. First title fight. Gets the job done, man. I mean, Strickland is he's such an interesting fighter because his style's so bizarre. When you look at it, you're like, that guy is not that good. And then you get in there, these guys are getting in there and finding out that he just has a way to keep moving forward and stay relatively defensively safe and just pepper you with good shots, stay safe defensively, and stay in your face and just walk forward nonstop the whole time and fight at a really, really crazy high pace. And we saw what Dricus did in his most recent fight against Robert Whittaker, right? He walked through the Reaper. Nobody thought that was really going to happen. I mean, some people did, but a lot of us, we didn't think that was going to happen. We thought Robert Whittaker was just going to, Whittaker can defend the takedowns. We all figured he had the better striking, the better movement, and that maybe DDP was going to get tired or whatever. But DDP, getting the nose fixed is a big deal, right? Now, a lot of people say it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It absolutely is, right? I mean, if you're sick and you can't breathe out of your nose and you try to go for long runs, try to, do any type of martial arts training or any endurance, anything, it's miserable. So imagine now you can finally breathe out of your nose. and your mouth as well, right? I mean, that has to help in some aspects. So Dricus is very patient. That tends to be something that I think he's going to be able to hopefully, for him use to his advantage against Sean Strickland, because that's kind of tough to do. Strickland doesn't really let you have a feeling out process per se, right? And DDP, the guy can mix it up. He can switch stances. His striking's pretty good. He's got good power. His takedowns are good. He's got a good ground game. And I think that this is just a big opportunity for DDP because he's in the limelight now. All this beef with Sean Strickland, what he particularly said to Sean Strickland kind of has people divided. And he's got a big headliner here. And if he's able to get the job done, he becomes the champion. I assume he'll call out Israel Adesanya. That will be the next potential big matchup at 185 pounds. I just see it happening if he gets through Strickland. Now, people are going to say Izzy doesn't deserve the next title shot. And it's like, you can argue it all day long. I'm not here to really debate that with you. I'm just here to say that, at 185, we have Chimaev. I'd like to see Chimaev fight Paulo Costa next. So really, there's no one else. And Izzy has defended the belt a lot of times, right? He's been a long reigning champion. He's had plenty of title defenses. He's been very active. Whether his fights have been entertaining or not, that's debatable. Well, not really debatable. Some of his fights have been really boring, and some have been entertaining. So, you could go back and forth on that. But the point is, DDP versus Adesanya is a big fight. I could see that potentially headlining UFC 300. It's got everything you need, right? It's got the bad blood, the trash talk, the press conference moments, the not shaking hands, the crazy press conference talks, and security having to separate him at the face-off for Dana White having to get in between and separate him. It has the bad blood. It's got it checks all the boxes. Someone would probably get finished in that fight. And I just think that that's a big matchup. And for countless reasons, there's headline issues for UFC 300, but this is a big opportunity for DDP, a huge opportunity for him. His name has really been in the media lately from this whole thing with Strickland. This fight's buzzing. I think the UFC strategically wanted some serious beef between these dudes to potentially build that big matchup that they need for UFC 300 to headline that card because they need a title fight probably because if you have McGregor headline, well, you can't really have any title fights underneath. So what do you all think? Comment below, like, subscribe, help your boy out. I appreciate you all. See you in the next one.